BNB Chain, whose native token BNB is the fifth largest cryptocurrency by market cap size at the time of recording this video, is undergoing significant change with a series of upcoming hard forks aimed at enhancing its performance, security, Ethereum compatibility, and user experience. Among these updates, the Pascal hard fork is the first major step, coming into force on March the 20th, setting the stage for subsequent improvements. So what is the BNB Chain's Pascal hard fork? What are its aims, potential advantages and disadvantages for users of BNB Chain? And that's what I'll be covering in this video. So please do like the video and subscribe to the channel so I can continue to offer more content for you in future. If you follow our social media channels on X, Facebook and Instagram, you'll receive daily crypto and financial education news update posts which will keep you informed. Stick around to the end of this video to find out what services Coin Knowledge offers. Just a quick reminder that nothing contained here is financial advice, and let's jump straight in. There are several aims of the BNB Chain Pascal hard fork, including enhancing Ethereum compatibility, introducing native smart contract wallet functionality, improving security and cryptography, and ultimately fostering a more user-friendly and efficient blockchain ecosystem. One of the main goals, though, is to increase BNB Chain's EVM, or Ethereum Virtual Machine compatibility. By aligning with features being introduced in Ethereum's Pectra upgrade, which has just been delayed until March the 26th, by the way, the Pascal hard fork is looking to facilitate smoother integration with existing Ethereum-based dApps or decentralized applications, and potentially attract more DeFi projects and developers to the BNB chain. A key component of achieving this enhanced compatibility and improving user experience is the introduction of native smart contract wallets, which basically allows your crypto wallet to temporarily act like a smart contract when you make a transaction. This is mainly achieved through the integration of the Ethereum smart contract wallet solution called EIP 7702, a proposal designed to allow externally owned accounts to temporarily function as smart contracts during transaction execution. So this quite technical change being implemented on the BNB chain adds some features aimed at lowering barriers to Web3 and DeFi adoption. For example, it would allow simpler and more account recovery options should you lose access to it. There would also be multi-signature support, which is where multiple approvals are needed before a transaction can be completed, and we'll look at security again in a bit. The BNB Chain's Pascal hard fork will also allow more advanced spending limits. For example, you could set daily transaction limits or add a permission to spend a particular crypto token that you hold in your wallet. And finally, it will allow batched transactions, which is a feature where you can complete multiple actions in one transaction rather than having to do this in separate transactions. For example, rather than having to approve a transaction first before being able to complete that transaction in DeFi, you'd now be able to do this in one click, with the aim of saving gas fees, as well as obviously being more user-friendly and just easier. And according to BNB Chain's 2025 roadmap, implementing the same smart contract wallet solution as EIP 7702 for enhanced account abstraction is one of their main goals, with gas abstraction being where you won't have to pay gas fees in the native token of that blockchain, but you could likely choose which cryptocurrency you'd prefer to pay the gas fees in that you hold in your wallet. And you can take this a step further because Pascal will also allow sponsored transactions, which would allow dApps to pay the gas fees for their users, for example as incentives for new users, etc. And many of these areas just mentioned also link with the BNB Chain's aim to strengthen its security and cryptography through the Pascal hard fork. This is achieved through the integration of BEP 439, which is equivalent to Ethereum's EIP 253711. And we've just looked at Pascal allowing multi-sig support for enhanced security, so the ability to combine multiple digital signatures into a single one, leading to faster and more efficient transaction verification, which is the first bullet point here. But this also introduces support for cryptographic operations using the BLS 12381 curve, which is a mathematical structure that reduces the computational work required, making cryptographic calculations faster and more memory efficient compared to older curves, which I will come back to at the end of this video when we look at what's coming next for the BNB chain. So to summarize, we've looked at the aims and possible advantages of BNB Chain's Pascal hard fork. such as gas abstraction, batch transactions, and sponsored transactions. So you wouldn't need to acquire the BNB token first to pay gas fees, for example. You'd be able to perform transactions in DeFi in one click, rather than having to approve, sign, etc. separately before being able to perform that transaction. And gas fees might even be covered by the dApp. There are also aspects such as multi-sig support, spending limits, and more account recovery options that will add more security to wallets. Better EVM compatibility could encourage more developers to bring their dApps to the BNB chain, and transactions could be faster on the BNB chain. But having said that, let's now look at some possible disadvantages. Because firstly, developers will need to ensure that their dApps are compatible with these new changes to avoid any disruption. Should security weaknesses be identified, if smart contracts aren't properly put together, this could lead to potential exploits for that platform. Account recovery options would need to be looked at carefully to ensure they're actually secure. Any third-party providers used in any of these services, such as account recovery, gas fee abstraction, and sponsored transactions, would need to be considered due to centralization concerns, even though the BNB chain is already a centralized blockchain compared to some other DeFi networks. Node operators, validators, and infrastructure providers will also have to update their software to specific versions to avoid being desynchronized from the network, given this is a hard fork. It will also be important to keep an eye on gas fees, because although the advantages could lead to more efficiency and savings on gas fees for users, dApps are unlikely to just cover these for free without making their money elsewhere. And finally, areas such as multi-sig and account recovery could lead to a level of complexity that some users might struggle with. So it will be interesting to see what, if any, guidance is given. So we've looked at BNB Chain's Pascal hard fork in this video, but what are its next steps after this? Well, it already has plans for 2 more forks. Firstly, Lorentz in April 2025, that will aim to reduce block intervals to 1.5 seconds. Then the Maxwell fork will take place in June 2025, which will further reduce block intervals to 0.75 seconds, as BNB Chain looks to increase the speed and efficiency of its blockchain. But that ends this video, and as always, I'd love to know what you think about the BNB Chain and its Pascal hard fork in the comments. Just a reminder that if you're interested in more of a tailored approach to your crypto education, and you think you'd benefit from having someone look over your shoulder and guide you on your journey, I do offer one-to-one coaching to those who have the desire and the means to educate themselves further. And there are links in the description where you can message me and book in a free video call to see if we'd be a good fit. You can sign up for a free account with Coinly using the link in the description to this video, which is one of the best automated crypto tax platforms out there. If you're looking for more specific crypto tax advice based on your personal circumstances, I've partnered with a leading UK crypto tax company in Myna, which is part of the company Nephos, that offers other services such as wealth management, restructuring, offshoring, etc. But I'll leave a link to contact them directly in the description to this video. If you're based in the US and are looking for specific crypto tax advice based on your personal circumstances, I've partnered with a leading US crypto tax company in crypto tax audit. And again, I'll leave a link to contact them directly in the description to this video. I've also included a link to Trezor's website in the description for anyone looking for one of the best hardware wallets or cold storage out there, with 2 new models released recently in the Trezor Safe 3 and Trezor Safe 5 that I actually did a video on recently that you can find the link to here and in the description. And finally, if you're looking for a portfolio tracker for your crypto portfolio, then I've included a link to CoinStats in the description to this video, which is the leading crypto and Bitcoin tracker on the market. And if you found this content interesting, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help. And have a great day.